Hello and welcome to the Radiate Wellness Podcast with your host, metaphysician, Reiki master, and hypnotherapist, Christy Clemens Hoffman. Each week, we will discover teachings, tips, and tools to radiate your best life ever with practitioners, authors, and luminaries to help you on your path. Wellness, joy, peace, abundance. What do you want to radiate?
Welcome back to the Radiate Wellness Podcast. Today we radiate cellular health with Amber Matthias, who's a well-being specialist based in the Lawrence, Kansas City area. Hello, Amber. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so pleased. You have developed this product that I think is really very interesting, and we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. But you are a well-being specialist. What does that mean?
Well, it's kind of a jack of all trades type of thing. I've been doing this 18, 19 years. So I started out as a holistic nutritionist. So very much into nutrition, supplementation, done health coaching for years and years, had I don't know how many hundreds of clients over the years, and really just try to help people with whatever their issues are. That kind of morphed into now me getting into the nutraceutical space and the supplement space. So really and truly just anything and everything wellness is kind of what I'm here to do.
Right. And you had previously brought wellness to some pretty big companies, some pretty big organizations. And now you're bringing it to the individuals and the marketplace in general.
Yes. Yep. I had about 18 years in corporate America doing their well-being and wellness programs. But, it's really hard to get change when you're working at such a large scale. So I really enjoy working with individuals, helping people tailor one-on-one programs. You can see a lot more change when you're able to work with people one-on-one rather than kind of the blanket approach.
This is true. So now you have moved into the nutraceutical space. So anybody who's not heard the term nutraceutical, how would you describe that?
Sure. So everybody has heard of vitamins and supplements. So nutraceuticals is just kind of the overarching brand, I would say, for it. Everybody has obviously heard of pharmaceuticals. So nutraceuticals would be more of your holistic approach to that type of product that we're putting out there. So again, that's just kind of the umbrella that we fall under as nutraceuticals.
Right. And you do have a very innovative nutraceutical that you have developed yourself. Can you talk about?
Yes. Sure. So obviously I've been doing this a long time. People's nutrition and supplementation is always a very big part of their health and wellness journey. A lot of people are trying to feel better. They're trying to get healthier. And there's just a lot of stuff out there. So myself, I have done the gamut over the years. I think I've tried every pill and powder out there. So with my journey and then developing one of my other businesses, Pure Life, I stumbled upon some liquid supplements that I started taking and almost immediately started feeling better. So I hadn't really dabbled in, the bioavailable liquid supplements. I was like everybody else. I was kind of taking the pills and powders. So it was just kind of a game changer for me. And had luck would have it, or as we know, the universe kind of lines up some cool stuff for you. I ended up meeting a brilliant formulator just by chance in Kansas City. And we started talking, and that's how I was able to come up with Seatox, my new supplement that we put out there. So it's been a long journey, but it's been one of those things that's been fun to see how it's all unfolding.
Right. And it's interesting to talk to somebody who has been on the cutting edge of developing their own supplementation and their own products. How did you go about getting this formula together? How did you know what you wanted to do with it?
Sure. It's a really good question. There's a lot of trial and error. Sometimes you got to try a lot of the wrong stuff before you get the secret sauce. But I had put together a protocol probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was all liquid supplements. It was all for cellular health and all for body balancing. So it was a pretty robust program. I'd say about 5 or 6 different supplements and bottles were required. And so you're kind of mixing every day and doing a lot of different things. And a lot of my clients were feeling better, which is awesome. But for someone to stay on that type of protocol and shell out, $300-400 every month, it really wasn't sustainable for a lot of people. And that was just kind of bumming me out. It was that people were starting to feel better and then they were kind of falling off. So I was like, how can we take the best of the best with the supplements I'm using and combine them into one? So again, lucky enough to know that formulator. So to me, when you're trying to get your gut healthy or when you're trying to get your cells healthier, there's really 2 key aspects of it. And we want to rid your cells of the bad stuff and put in the good stuff. So we put together seatox, which the C is SEA. It's all coming from seaweed, sea vegetables, sea moss, and then a detox. So that's how we came up with seatox, because we're putting together sea vegetables with a detox formula. So essentially what we're doing in this one formula is it's a 2-in-1. So if people were going to take nothing else, I wanted them to at least have access to one really good product. So it really is just taking out the bad and putting in the good. It really is kind of that simple. But again, because we're doing it with a liquid supplement and it's bioavailable, it's going to cross the blood-brain barrier in less than 60 seconds. You're going to get almost 100% absorption. And all of our vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, amino acids, everything, all the good stuff, it's coming from a whole food form. It's coming from seaweed and sea vegetables. So your body actually knows what to do with it. So it can put it to work right away. It's not having to figure out what pill or powder or chemical compound it is. It's a whole food source. So your body's like, hey, I know what to do with this. So it was just kind of one of those things that I was like, if we could get this product out there, it's going to be simple for people to take. It's going to be affordable for people to take. And it's just going to take a lot of the guesswork out of it, because as long as I've been in this industry, it is still overwhelming with the amount of information out there and misinformation. So I think it's really hard for consumers to know what's good, what's bad, what's going to help them, what's not. So I really just wanted to come up with a formula that could benefit everybody.
Mm-hmm. Now, why sea vegetables and sea life? We've got plenty of vegetables and fruits on land. What makes us?
Yeah. I think one of the big things, and nobody is really going to be shocked by this, I think everybody knows that our soil has been really depleted over the years. There just isn't the nutrients in the soil that we used to have, especially here in the US with big agriculture and everything coming in. So our soils have essentially been stripped of a lot of things. So we had to go to the sea where it's still pretty untouched, to where stuff is still coming from its natural element. It's still getting harvested sustainably, at least we harvest sustainably, and it's still got everything intact. It hasn't really been tampered with like the soils here.
That does make sense, doesn't it? Now, this might be a really silly question, but if someone is allergic to shellfish or different types of fish, does that make a difference with this product, seatox?
No, I mean, that's a really good question. We do get that one because it has nothing to do with fish. I mean, this is the stuff that fish would be eating. This is, going to be the algae and it's going to be the seaweed and stuff like that. But no, typically we don't have those type of interactions with any kind of fish or shellfish because it doesn't contain any of that.
Right. Now, what is it in these sea vegetables, these sea plants, that is so good for us?
So essentially, this is just Mother Earth's creation. So plankton, algae, all these things that just originally started growing from the sun. So it was coming from our main source and growing from sunlight. So over the years, this has been the stuff that's also been able to sustain your ocean life. These are one of the first things that were available for ocean life to start eating so they could start thriving. Again, when you have a whole food that is coming directly from nature, was basically created with sunshine and water and all that good stuff. It was put there to sustain life in the first place. It was just kind of, like I said, it's one of those no-brainers where It just is one of the most nutrient dense foods out there.
And what does that do for our bodies?
So like I said, your body really recognizes it. So if you were to eat an apple, then your body would recognize that. It would know how to break it down, digest it, absorb it. It would know all the vitamins, minerals that it could pull out of that. So it's the exact same thing with the seaweed and the sea vegetables. It's a whole food. Your body knows exactly how to use it, how to break it down. It knows what minerals and vitamins and everything to pull out of it. So it's no different than eating your regular food and getting nutrition out of it.
Okay, but it's more concentrated.
It's much more concentrated, again, because it hasn't really been tampered with, and it's just more nutrient dense than a lot of our stuff out there.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the detoxification that occurs with
Sure.
it. And yeah, why do we need detoxification?
So, that's one of the things. The original formula was just pure sea vegetables. And believe it or not, this formula has been around over 40 years. So it is tried and true. My formulator, he is the coolest guy. He's been formulating for over 50 years. He's pushing 80, but you wouldn't know it. But this was his very first formula, was pure sea vegetables. And people got amazing results with it. But when I started to get this idea, it's different than it was 40 some years ago when originally he came up with that formula, right? Because if you look at our lifestyles and how much we've progressed, our toxins have just gone up. I mean, I don't know how many folds. From the air we're breathing to what we're putting on our skin to the food we're eating, the plastics, we're just exposed. You can't help but not be exposed to toxins. Even if you're very clean and organic, you're still got to breathe air. You're still going to be on your cell phone and be in front of EMFs. You're still going to be ingesting some kind of herbicide or whatever, pesticide. That's just how we are now as a society. So what I found in all my years of doing this is sometimes people are so toxic that they can't even receive the good anymore. So if your cells are so coated in toxins, and it could be anything from heavy metals to glyphosate to excess fat, whatever it is, if your cells are so heavily coated with toxins, then the good can't even get in, really. So you're kind of blocking that. So with Seatox, again, kind of the 2-in-1 approach I wanted to take is let's get people's cells cleaned of all the bad, kind of like cleaning your window, right? And so you can see out of it. And then the pure sea vegetables then can actually be absorbed by your cells. So we want to get your cells rid of toxins, and then it's able to receive everything. And then it's got all the nutrients and it knows what to do with it. But sometimes people are taking really, really good supplements. But if their gut and their cells just aren't healthy enough to receive those nutrients, it's just not going to be absorbed.
Yeah. So, is this formulation for people with a crappy diet, for people who already have a good diet? Who can benefit from this the most?
Really anybody and everybody, and it's a daily supplement, right? So this product would replace pretty much everything you've got in your cupboard. And that's what we wanted. We wanted everything in one bottle. If you were going to take nothing else, we wanted to make sure that you were covered. So Seatox has 93 different nutrients in it. It's basically like you're taking your multivitamin, your multi-mineral, your amino acids, you're taking enzymes to help break down your food and help your gut. It just has everything in it, but again, in a whole food form. So you actually know what you're getting. So when you say, who's this for? If someone is eating every day, drinking every day, breathing air every day, putting stuff on their skin every day in front of their cell phone, it's really good to just help your body on a daily basis keep clearing out those toxins. And that way it doesn't accumulate. As they start to accumulate, that's usually when some health issues start to pop up. So I am probably cutting myself short with my expertise, but it really isn't rocket science. If you have healthier cells and a healthier gut, you're just going to feel better.
Right. And then if it's not up to par, if your body's not quite healthy, your gut's not quite healthy, this will help you get there, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most people, when you say the word detox, they have never really experienced a cellular detox. They confuse it with all the detoxes out there on the market that are kind of your run to the bathroom or colon cleanse type detoxes or whatever it may be. But a lot of people have never really done a cellular detox before.
What's the difference? I don't want to take too much of your time, but I would like to ask you a few simple favors. First of all, please rate, review, and share this podcast wherever you're listening. It sounds like a simple little thing, and it is, but it has a huge impact for us because it helps other people find us in the podcasting algorithms. I don't know how it works, but I do know that it helps a lot. Next, if you would subscribe or follow wherever you're listening, whether that's YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you're listening, just hit subscribe or follow, and that helps you and it helps us. It helps you because then you receive notifications when we have a new episode that's out. It helps us because, again, algorithm magic, I don't know what happens, but it helps. And then finally, you can support our podcast in a tangible way by going to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/podcast and then click on support the show. Now, we have a new feature too. We are now on Patreon. You can find us on Patreon. You can also find the link to Patreon when you go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/podcast. So on Patreon for $3 a month or $5 a month, you can support your metaphysical and spiritual growth. You can learn about upcoming guests and you can get early and ad-free versions of the shows. So please support us. This podcast is free for you to listen, but we have costs, and quite frankly, they come out of my pocket. So if you like this content, if you get a lot out of it, please see what you can do to give back. Thank you so much.
Sure. So I would say one of the main differences is the detox herbs that we put in. Again, they're meant to, because it's in liquid form and it's bioavailable, you're going to get absorption and it's going to start working within 60 seconds. So if you were taking a pill or a powder, anyone out there, let's say you have a really good gut, like your gut is solid, you don't have any gut issues. If you were to take a pill or a powder, you're going to start getting absorption out of that supplement in probably 6+ hours. Yeah. And if you don't have a good gut, we're talking 10 or 12+ hours before it could be ingested, broke down, your gut could get to it. And then in a pill or a powder, I don't think this is new news to anyone either. Whatever it says on the bottle, you're usually only going to be getting 20 to 30% absorption of that, because as your body breaks it down, stomach acids automatically kill off some of that stuff through digestion. Just some of that is going to be lost. So again, when you're doing a pill or powder form, you just have to know that you're only getting a fraction of what it's really telling you it is.
Right. Oh my goodness. And as somebody who's got a cabinet full of supplements, they're expensive.
Oh yeah. Yep. And like I said, unfortunately, if you're taking all that stuff and you don't have a good gut and maybe your cellular health isn't that great, you don't even know how much of it is actually getting absorbed. So you don't know what it's doing for you or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can see that. Yeah. Now, formulating a supplement, formulating something like this, I can't even imagine, where would you start with that? So how did this come about?
Well, luckily, like I said, you gotta always surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And like I said, I was fortunate enough to come across my formulator who has been in the business, 50 years. This isn't his first rodeo. But as far as what he had to do to make this supplement for me, it probably took us 9-10 months to really get it right, because some things just don't play nice with each other, right? So sometimes when you're adding in different herbs to a nutrient dense compound, there can be interactions, and you have to make sure that your stability is good, that it can have some shelf stability. But also what was really, really important to me was that we didn't add any preservatives. So we had to figure out a way for everything to play nice so it could be stabilized, but we weren't adding in anything really foreign that would tamper with the good ingredients we were putting in.
Right, right. And so this formulator, I believe he's out in California, that is actually,
Yeah.
this is quite a synchronicity of meeting him, of hooking up with him. Yeah. Can you tell us about
Yeah.
that?
So I've been doing this a long time. I was just kind of one of those nerdy kids, probably 9 or 10 years old, starting to read vitamin books and telling my mom I didn't think we were getting enough vitamin, whatever. I think she ended up finally getting us like Flintstones, probably the generic brand to shut me up. So again, it's just always been my passion. But there was a supplement that I took in college that I really liked. And it was a liquid supplement and it had a bunch of stuff. And I mean, full transparency, I was in college, so don't judge me, but it helped with my hangovers. And then the supplement went away. And I was bummed because I'd taken it for quite a few years and then you just couldn't get it anymore. So anyway, fast forward, like 25 years later, I was working with a chiro out of Kansas City and he was using a line of supplements. He knew I was kind of in this field and like that stuff. So he said, hey, the formulator is actually coming in to give my staff an education on it. Would you like to sit in? I know you're interested in this stuff. And I said, yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. And in that meeting, this guy was just super informative. He was funny. He just was all the things. You're like, wow, what a cool guy. You know what I mean? So I talked to him afterwards and we started chatting. And he was the formulator of that supplement that I took all those years ago in college. And I was like, no way, I love that stuff. Like, what happened to it? And they weren't able to produce it anymore. But it was just kind of one of those weird, like, yeah, I took that stuff 25 years ago and here I am meeting this person and now I have a business with him and he's formulating products for me.
That is amazing. I know. I always believe in synchronicity. When things are
Oh
aligned,
yeah.
they line up,
Yeah,
right? And
definitely.
this is the one who's making these formula for you.
So he came out of retirement for me because he's pushing 80 years old. Like I said, you wouldn't know it, but he came out of retirement for me to formulate this product for me. So it's been a really cool experience and everything I've learned from what it takes to get the ingredients, to source, to put it together, to get the secret sauce, everything that I've learned, somebody that's consumed vitamins and supplements my entire life. I mean, it's quite the education to go through this process.
Right. What kind of training did you have to go through to get where you are?
So for me, a lot of it's been trial and error. My BA was in health promotion and wellness. Then I went on and got certified as a holistic nutritionist. I got certified in different health coaching things, primal health, got a certification in that. But a lot of it, honestly, is just been my own learning over the past 18, 19 years. Reading about everything, trying everything. I'm never afraid to be my own guinea pig. Like I said, there's so much information and misinformation out there. It's really hard to know. One day eggs are good, then they're bad. This is good, then it's bad. So I feel really bad out there for consumers to know, hey, what really is good, what really is bad, what can benefit me, what cannot benefit me, what's going to be worth my while, what's going to be worth my money. It's gotten to be such a big industry. And just like anything else, there's some really not good supplements out there. There's some good ones and then there's some not good. So you kind of really have to be your own health advocate to figure out which is going to be the right one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. 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 So you've really done the study and done the work to learn all about nutrition.
Yeah.
So what's your role in this company, in this supplement?
So since I'm the founder of it, I'm the founder, I've got my formulator. I really am all of the nuts and bolts behind it. So I do have people I work with for marketing and for social media and for things like that. But really my main job is to get the information and get the education out there to people and get it in bite-sized pieces so people can actually understand what you're trying to tell them. This stuff can get really in the weeds, with science and this and that and the other. And some people really like that. And some people are just like, hey, if I take this and spend my money on it, am I going to feel better? So that's really kind of my job behind everything, is making sure that we're getting good education and good information out there. And of course, quality control to make sure that we're putting out the best product. We're third party tested, so we make sure that everything is tested accordingly. And we really, really stand behind the product that we're putting out there. We are vegan, we're non-GMO. Like I said, we are drug-free, we are preservative-free, you name it. We really tried to put a lot of good stuff into this.
And this is a vegan formula, right?
Yep.
Yep. For whom that is important. Yes, vegan.
Yes, definitely.
Wonderful. And you've got a website. This is
Yes.
seatox.shop. So what can we
Yep.
expect on your website?
So seatox.shop, that's a great way to just kind of pick our brain a little bit more. So we have our benefits on there. There is a whole slew of benefits, so people can really dive into that. All of our ingredients are on there, so they can dig into the detox herbs. They can learn more about the 7 sea vegetables that we put in it. We've got our backstory on it, how we kind of came about over 40 years ago. And really, it breaks down why you should be trying Seatox. No more pills and powders. It's simple. It takes seconds a day. It's affordable. And then we also break down during the first month how you should be feeling as you start to take Seatox. So it's really got some great information on it, plus our testimonials and everything else.
Wonderful. Yeah, I started taking Seatox myself, and I've been very happy with it. Very happy with it so far. I find it helpful. I've got a bit more energy. I just started taking it not too long ago, but I can tell that I feel good on it. And
what did you think of the taste?
The taste was interesting. It's not what I expected. I expected it to taste like seaweed, and it doesn't. It's got a sweet.
Yeah.
Is that the dandelion root, or what is creating the sweetness?
We did put a little bit of stevia in it, but I will tell you, like I said, this was like a 9 or 10 month process. The first 2, 3 formulas, they were hard to get down. And I can get down a lot of things. So that was one thing that was really important to me, because you can have the best product out there, but if it tastes like garbage, people aren't going to keep taking it.
Right.
So it's interesting when people take it, because I hear people say things like it tastes like vanilla, or it tastes like maple. It has like a little bit of hint of maple syrup to it. Some of those type of things.
Yeah, it tastes.
But we really worked hard on the taste.
Right. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
It tastes a bit like vanilla extract.
That's a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that was one of the things that I was really passionate about, is getting the taste to where people can get it down, because it's kind of one of those things. We expect everything to taste like a cupcake now, right? Everything's in gummy form. You can take everything. It tastes like candy and this. But I mean, when you're working with whole food nutrients, and especially seaweed, it's really hard to get it to taste, taste good. But I think that we did a pretty good job with that.
You did. You really did. I fully expected it to taste like iodine, like seaweed, I was pleasantly surprised. Now, all of these, I'm looking at the list of sea vegetables. I don't recognize any of them. These are different types of moss and seagrass and seaweed.
Yep. And we've got some kelp in there. There's a brown seaweed. So again, a lot of people don't know the actual names of a lot of these. So they just think it's seaweed or sea moss, but there's actually lots of different types of seaweed or sea moss, kelp, sea vegetables. There's a lot. I learned a lot throughout the process too.
I'll bet. This is just a curiosity question. Do all of these sea vegetables come from the same area, or do you have to travel the world to find the different varieties?
They mostly come from northern waters, really, really cold waters. And one of the reasons that we stick with some of those cold waters is because as things start to heat up, if you were to go outside of Mexico or California or whatever, toxins are going to be pretty high in those warmer waters. So we kind of go to really the northern waters where it's still really cold. So that's where things are very pristine still. We also sustainably harvest, like I said. So we go in and cut these. Some people go in and actually extract. So they're digging them up or they're pulling them out with their machinery. We go in and cut so they can grow back, and we can keep harvesting out of kind of the same plots.
That's what we want, is the sustainability, right? For
Yeah,
it.
that's important. That's very important to us.
Now, is the harvesting of the vegetables, is that in-house more or less?
Once we get it, by that time it's been dried, and by the time we're getting everything, that's when we're able to put the formula together. Then again, we put it in the liquid bioavailable formula, and just kind of away we go.
Yeah. Yeah. That is quite a process. I never really, you don't think about where your supplements come from and how they might be
Right.
administered. So just to
Yeah.
know and have a personal connection and relationship with the people who are producing these things that we take into our body, I think that's nice. Know where it comes.
Yeah. And supplements aren't FDA regulated. So again, I want everybody to be their own health advocate. And if you're going to be ingesting something and spending your money on something, I think it is worth a little bit of diligence to check out what you're doing, because it isn't regulated. They've done plenty of studies. I think, even, don't quote me, 60 Minutes, some of them have done where they'll buy vitamins off the shelf and they'll actually test them to see if they have in them what they want to have in them.
Oh,
And some do, some don't. Some have a much lower percentage of what they're claiming to have in there. One in particular, I won't say the brand because I won't put anybody on blast, but it's one that's out there and people can pick up pretty much anywhere. Hard pills, when they started to break down what was in there, they found a little bit of what it was. Let's just say vitamin C. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but whatever vitamin it was claiming to be, it had a little bit of that. Then with pills and powders, they can put in a lot of fillers. So they can put in fillers to kind of beef up their production. And one of the fillers couldn't be identified at first. So upon further testing, they found out it was ground up mattress.
what?
Yeah.
Mattress.
Yeah. But again, it's not regulated.
Ah,
The vitamin and supplement world is not. So just, again, I want people, whether they're taking seatox or not, to just really look into what they're doing. And over the years, I've told people too, whatever supplements you're taking, there's some really good tips and tricks you can do just at home. So let's say you're taking like a calcium or magnesium or something like that, and it's in like a hard white pill. Put it in a glass of water and let it set overnight. See how much of it actually starts to break down. And if it's still pretty intact by that morning, that's how it's going through your system.
yeah.
So there's just some things that a lot of people don't know about, but there's a lot of things that people can be doing for a little bit of their own homework to see if what they're taking is actually breaking down in their system or not.
That's a very good point, that we can all do a better job of doing our own research and being intentional about what we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because our body, this is our vehicle. This is how we live our purpose, is through our body. So, we need to take good care of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you have an affiliate program for the supplements. How does that work?
Yeah, we've been fortunate that people really like our product because people really start feeling better, which is awesome. That's what we set out to do. So then some people just automatically contact us and say, hey, I really like this, and I have a store that I think I'd like to sell this out, or I have a big network. If I become an affiliate for you, can I get a kickback? So yeah, we love all that stuff. We love to partner with people who are just passionate about what we're doing and just getting a good supplement out there. So I think on our website, we do have our affiliate link so people can shoot us their information and we'll just talk and see what they're up for. And if somebody's out there selling for us and getting the word out there, then we want them to be compensated for that too. So we just kind of like to work with a lot of that. And a lot of them have been people that just love the product that contact us.
And then otherwise, where can we find seatox?
So right now we are solely online. We're in e-commerce. I'm in Lawrence, you're in Kansas City. And so we are slowly getting out there to more and more brick and mortars. So we have a couple people here in town that carry it. We have some gyms that carry it, some chiropractors. anybody that's kind of in the well-being or holistic field, those are good fits for us, and they want to carry it in their store.
Right. Yeah. I know you've just started this business this year, 2023.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been a
And
great,
as we know, 2023 has been very interesting for a lot of people. So
yeah.
trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been quite a year getting this product together, marketed, labeled, developed, get the website up. Oh my gosh. It's exciting because you're in the beginning stages of it, launching this product. I can highly recommend it myself. And of course, that is seatox.shop. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you think is important? Anything I haven't asked or covered?
No, I think, like I said, whether you're taking Detox or not, obviously I'm biased and I want everybody to, but just due diligence, know what you're putting in your body, do a little bit of research on it if you can, and see how you feel. If you're taking a product, let's say you've been taking it a month and somebody's like, hey, how are you liking that new XYZ? And they're like, I don't know. A good product, you should start to feel something. So that's another thing too, is don't just take a bunch of pills or powder, or there's other tinctures too, and just keep taking it because you think you should. You should feel a difference when you're on a good product. So that's one of the things, especially if you look at our testimonials, people just keep saying over and over, within a matter of days, I started feeling better. My gut started feeling better. I didn't have as much bloat. A couple weeks in, I had more energy, less brain fog. Like, these are things that should be happening with a good solid supplement. It should do what it says it's supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah. And how much time should we give a new supplement when you're trying it?
A solid 30 days for sure. What I run into with people, because I've given out countless bottles and I want to get a lot of feedback, is I'll be like, hey, how are you liking it? And they're like, oh, shoot, I forgot. So consistency is key, I will say. What I do is I just keep it on my nightstand or I keep it on my bathroom counter. So I remember to take it first thing in the morning and like before I go to bed, because you're literally just taking droppers. You don't have to mix anything. You don't have to swallow anything. You're just droppers under your tongue. So if you're taking it consistently, within usually 3 to 5 days, people will start to notice something from Detox. After the 30 days, then it's just the compound effect, right? Then it's still clearing toxins out of your body. So I really like the visual of, if you think of our body like an aquarium, like a nice, pretty aquarium. It looks good. It looks great. And then you go digging around in the bottom, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up. Essentially, that's what Detox is doing to your cells. But we want that stuff to come up because then your body can flush it out. So that's one of the things that people start to feel better and better with the compound effect, because the more and more you get those toxins cleaned off your cells and out of your cells and just getting them out of your daily life, you're going to keep feeling better and better and better.
Because I'm sure all of that is weighing us down and just clogging
Oh,
our systems.
100%. Yeah. And like I said, it's not rocket science. If you have a healthier gut and healthier cells, you're just going to feel better. You're just going to feel healthier.
Right, right. Well, this is all just wonderful, wonderful. So I can highly endorse this product and I would love, just take it, see what you think. Amber, thank
Yeah,
you so much for sitting and talking with me today.
absolutely. I appreciate it. So, like everything else, you and I cross paths in a really awesome manner as well. So, I just believe that what you're doing, the information that you're getting out for your listeners, is just really beneficial. So, I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I have to say, we've had some wonderful guests and are sharing some great information here, including about you and your product. Yes, thank you.
All right.
Don't know what to watch next? Decisions. Well, we've got some suggestions. You can click this little video here and watch that. It's something that we think you're going to like. If you like the last one, you're going to like that one too. You can also click on the subscribe button. And if you do that, then you'll get notifications whenever we have a new video up. Win-win, right?